The atheistic materialist holds that material reality precedes mind, and that mind is therefore an emergent property of material reality. Whereas on the other hand, the Christian theist holds that mind precedes material reality, and that material reality was created and sustained by the mind of God. From general relativity and from corroborating observational evidence, there is abundant evidence that indicates the universe was created approximately 14 billion years ago, as the theist holds. And from quantum mechanics and from corroborating observational evidence, there is abundant evidence that indicates the universe is sustained in its continual existence by the mind of God. As to consciousness in quantum mechanics, that mind and or consciousness is integral to quantum mechanics is fairly obvious to the unbiased observer, no pun intended. I first, much like everybody else, was immediately shocked to learn that the observer could have any effect whatsoever in the double slit experiment. Professor Anton Zeilinger in the Double Slit Experiment Is Anything Real video makes this rather startling statement. And at the 4-minute 12-second mark of the following video, Professor Zeilinger states this. In fact, the implications of both quantum mechanics and quantum electrodynamics, besides being friendly to theistic concerns overall, are very friendly to Christian concerns in particular. This following video gets that point across. Richard Feynman, who was integral in formulating quantum electrodynamics, said this in regards to the double slit experiment. Moreover, the double slit experiment has now been accomplished for objects much larger than electrons. Of course, atheists, materialists were and are in complete denial as to the obvious theistic implications of mind in the double slit experiment, invoking imaginary infinite parallel universes and such as that to try to get around the obvious theistic implications of mind. But personally, not being imprisoned in the materialistic mindset, my curiosity was aroused, and I've been poking around on the internet, finding out a little bit more here and there about the experiments of quantum mechanics and how the observer turns out to be central in the experiments. One of the first interesting experiments in quantum mechanics that I found after I had learned about the double slit experiment was Eugene Wigner's quantum symmetries experiment. Here is a comment by Eugene Wigner, which you can read at your leisure, on the key experiment that led Wigner to his Nobel Prize winning work on quantum symmetries. Eugene Wigner went on to make these rather dramatic comments in regards to his work. Then, after I had learned about Wigner's quantum symmetries, I found out about Wheeler's delayed choice experiments, in which this finding shocked me. And John Wheeler made these comments in regards to the experiment he had devised. Then, a little after learning about Wheeler's delayed choice experiment, I learned that the delayed choice experiment had been extended by what is termed the delayed choice quantum eraser experiment. And then, after that, I learned that the delayed choice experiment was refined yet again by what is termed the delayed choice quantum delayed choice entanglement swapping experiment. In regards to the delayed choice entanglement swapping experiment, Asher Perez stated they quote-unquote mimic future actions on past events. You can see a more complete explanation of the startling results of the entanglement swapping experiment at the 9:11 minute mark of the following video. The following experiment also extended Wheeler's delayed choice experiment to include not only photons but atoms themselves, and also show us that quote-unquote reality does not exist if you are not looking at it. And then, after learning about all these different delayed choice experiments, I then learned about something called Leggett's inequality. Leggett's inequality was, as far as I can tell, a mathematical proof that was developed by Nobelist Anthony Leggett to try to prove realism. Now, realism is the belief that an objective reality exists independent of a conscious observer looking at it. But, as is usual with challenging the predictions of quantum mechanics, his proof was violated by a stunning 80 orders of magnitude, thus once again, in an over-the-top fashion, highlighting the central importance of a conscious observer in quantum experiments. Physics professor Richard Conn Henry made this comment after the Leggett inequality results came in. But, as if all that was not enough to demonstrate consciousness's centrality in quantum mechanics, I then learned about something called the quantum Zeno effect, which is, to put it simply, an unstable particle, if observed continuously, will never decay. The reason why I am very impressed with the quantum Zeno effect in particular as to establishing consciousness's primacy in quantum mechanics is, for one thing, that entropy is, by a wide margin, the most finely tuned of initial conditions for the Big Bang. For another thing, it is interesting to note just how foundational entropy is in its explanatory power in science for actions within the space-time of the universe. In fact, entropy is also the primary reason why our physical, temporal bodies grow old and die. And yet, to repeat, the quantum Zeno effect is an unstable particle, if observed continuously, will never decay. This is just fascinating. Why in blue blazes should conscious observation put a freeze on entropic decay unless consciousness was and is more foundational to reality than the initial 1 in 10 to the 10 to the 1/23rd entropy is? Thus, to summarize, putting all lines of evidence together from the double slit experiment, Wigner's quantum symmetries, Wheeler's delayed choice, Leggett's inequalities, and the quantum Zeno effect. From all those lines of evidence, the argument for God and consciousness can now be formulated like this. Consciousness either preceded all of material reality or is an epiphenomena of material reality. If consciousness is an epiphenomena of material reality, then consciousness will be found to have no special position within material reality. Whereas, conversely, if consciousness precedes material reality, then consciousness will be found to have a special position within material reality. Consciousness is found to have a special, even a central position within material reality. Therefore, consciousness is found to precede material reality. Thus, in conclusion, the Christian theist has multiple lines of evidence from quantum mechanics backing up his claim that mind is primary and that material is derivative from consciousness, whereas the atheist has zero evidence backing up his claim that mind is emergent from some material basis. And here are a few supplemental quotes in that regards. And again, all these papers are referenced in the paper I have linked in the video description, and you can access them and go through them at your leisure. Thank you very much for watching the video.